Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
Hey, what's going on, family? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Look, my friends, on tonight's conversation, we're going to talk about voter fraud. We're also going to discuss insider trading, which we hear a lot of candidates that are running for Congress here during this midterm cycle bring up insider trading. I've heard local elected candidates, not locally elected, but local candidates speak on it as well. And so the House has passed a bill banning insider trading for House members, for members of the United States House of Representatives. So we're going to talk a little more about that in the program. Also, voter fraud where is the question. So Trump continues to bring up voter fraud from the 2020 election between him and Joe Biden. A lot of folks are extremely tired of hearing this president whine about the election that he lost. Okay, and here's a crazy thing: he has not yet conceded the election in 2020. So what I mean by concede is when, say, you run for something. Say I'm running against John Doe, and I lose to John Doe. The numbers shows that I'm not going to come out as the victor in this fight or in this race, and I concede the election. I either say I want to wait a little longer to count the votes or recount the votes, or I just say, you know what, I'm going to concede. The American people have spoken. This individual John Doe will be the victor in this race. Let me concede it and wish my opponent luck. Keep it moving. It has been done forever. Yeah, you have a few elections here and there that has said, no, we have to do a recount. No, there's some election fraud voter fraud that are involved in that. But for the most part, it's been just smooth sailing. Not with Trump. Trump continues to whine and says he won and he has not conceded. And a lot of his, crazy supporters also say there were fraud and he won that race. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Just take the L. So we're going to talk about that. And also too, famous hip hop star Lil Wayne, he he is backing Trump's revamp of the Oval Office, because Trump has been criticized of the Oval Office because he has cluttered it with all this gold. You know how Trump loves gold, and since his second term, well, even his first term, but his second term, he has threw out gold. I mean, it literally looks like Mar-a-Lago threw up on the White House, and he's turned into more of like a, I don't know, what do you call it, like a country club vibe. Like I said, gold everything, and he's been criticized, and a supporter of his, Lil Wayne, is speaking up for him. So we'll talk about that and more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. My friends, as always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I hope you enjoyed last show with Miss Natalie Kidd. She is a Democratic candidate running for Hampton City School Board. Great conversation. It was a thrill to have her on. Again, I think it's very inspiring seeing young people get involved in local government in general, but also local, specifically on a local level. 26 years old. This is not her first time running for school board. This is her second time, and I was just, I learned something because I've shared here on the show. I don't speak a lot about school board races or school board in general. I should, shame on me, bad Arrington, shame on me. But I'm a little biased because I'm not a parent, right? I'm a proud uncle, but I'm not a parent. But I do have a lot of friends and family who are parents, where I can, help provide some info, what goes on in the, in the school board and X, Y, and Z. And I've actually been reached out to a few other school board candidates, some that are currently serving on the school board. So I will definitely have them on very soon. But again, I want to shout out Natalie Kidd for taking the time and coming here on the show for a convo to talk more about our campaign and X, Y, and Z. Family, we drop new episodes weeknights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. We're available on iHeart, Spotify, Apple, just to name a few. We're available on all podcast platforms. You can also follow us on our socials at the Arrington Gavin Show on Instagram, X AG Show Live, okay, AG Show Live, and then check out our awesome website, www.theagshow.com. That is www.theagshow.com. You can hit me up if you want to send me an email or follow up on some of the recent shows. That is a way you can hit me up from there. So make sure to also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done so yet. I'll truly appreciate that. We want to continue to grow our subscribers. And look, just like I said, help a brother out, please. No, but for real, follow, subscribe, share with a friend, share with family. I truly appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up and all that great stuff. Like I said, we want to continue to grow and make sure we do great on our side, and give us feedback as well. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna head to a quick commercial break. Do not go anywhere. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Order your beard care products with Rugged Evolution. We're your local beard care line that supports the maintenance of your full, mature beard. Our line includes conditioning shampoos, moisturizers, balms, oils, shaving lotions, and exfoliating soaps. These products moisturize, hydrate, nourish, and have all the natural ingredients for a healthy beard. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, this that new Gold Verse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
All right, family, let's get it going with our first. Welcome back. I want to talk about this insider trade. So let me go ahead and pull up this article here. There we go. So it was recently announced that the House had passed to limit stock purchases by members of Congress. Now, here's my take with this. Let me see if I can I minimize that. There we go. So let me just kind of share my take with this. Before I read this article that was reported by CBS News, what we are noticing now, y'all, is a lot of new challengers that are hoping to unseat incumbents or folks that have been a part of the Democratic establishment. And what I mean by that is former members of Congress. They're getting called out. They're getting called out because when they are caught up in receiving, basically making a lot of money while they're serving, or even when they leave, because like what Marjorie Taylor Greene, she went in with with a certain type of wealth, and she left with a larger amount of wealth. We have a race happening in my home area, in Virginia, and actually my district, Virginia, congressional district 2, CD2. It is a competitive race right now. It's a competitive primary between well, there's four candidates, right? You have four individuals, but right now in the top two ranking, there's really two, and the person that's in first place is former Congresswoman Elaine Loria, and then in second place you have Dr. Neela DeFeneth, and she was on the program before. She has called out the former elected official, saying, "Hey, she's made a large amount of money, whilst from insider." Trades and XYZ. And I'm like, whoa, those are some, heavy accusations, right? So you have these individuals calling out established candidates, because, and the reason why this is a big deal, because how many times do you hear folks saying, oh, Congress is bought out, Congress doesn't care about the people, they care about their pockets, and they care about this, they don't care about us, they're slowing up decisions because they rather worry about their pockets than worry about the issues happening for us. And hey, I'm not saying that they're lying, right? It happens. We've heard cases of folks, we see the net worth, right? Of a job that you make in the, I'm gonna say, six figures, but I mean 100 to 200 something thousand, and you leave out making millions. It is a little suspect, right? So let me read you this article here. So recently, the House passed a bill placing some limits, some, not many, but some limits on congressional stock trading, but the lack of tougher restrictions and the inclusion of a voter ID provision complicated its support among Democrats. Now, lawmakers approved the bill in a 232 to 198 vote, with 13 Democrats voting with all Republicans in favor. The Stop Insider Trading Act, introduced by Byron Steele of Wisconsin in January, would prohibit members of Congress, their spouses, and dependent children from purchasing publicly traded stocks. Now, it would also require lawmakers to publicly disclose each intended sale of stocks at least 7 days in advance to the House clerk or Senate secretary. Now, the penalty for a violation is $2,000 or 10% of the transaction's value, whichever is greater, as well as the forfeiture of any realized gains from the sale. Now, the measure ensures that lawmakers cannot use their position to profit off of insider information they may garner while serving in Congress. So this is, and that was a quote from Congressman Brian Steele. Y'all, it's annoying to me, because I'm like, why is this even up for debate? This should have already been in, like, that should have already been in law. This should already been something. It's a shame that we sacrifice our time, our efforts to vote for people that we look as somebody that can represent our community and that can look out for our best interests, yet they look out for their best interests. That's the annoying thing when it comes to politics, okay? It sucks, but it's reality. And you get a lot of established candidates, now excuse me, established elected officials from both sides that finds himself in hot water, either stock trade or is receiving APEC money, because all it is showing, okay, they have their interests for other folks that align their pocket rather than the people that voted their asses in. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Do y'all hear me in the back? Y'all okay? So we need to vote those that care more about fattening their pockets and elect those that truly care about serving the people. We need to do better as bosses to hire the right folks in office. Not folks that rely on companies, corporations, or one individual that continues to whine about election fraud 24/7 or voter fraud. No, we need to make sure we hire the right folks. Republicans combine the stock trading bill with an unrelated provisions that requires voters to show photo identification when voting in federal elections, as President Trump pushes for strict new voter eligibility rules, which to me that's stupid by itself. Democrats pan the bill as not going far enough, pushing for an outright ban, right? An outright ban. So Democrats are pushing for an outright ban on members of Congress from owning stocks, and for those limits to also extend to the president and administration officials. A quote I'm going to read here says this bill would, in fact, allow members of Congress to continue to own and trade individual stocks. The bill would let members of Congress keep every single share of stock they currently own. The bill will allow members to liquidate their holdings at any time, profiting off years of ballooning investments portfolios. There is no divestiture required under this bill, and crucially, the bill does nothing to rein in the unprecedented, absurd, and deeply offensive corruption currently taking place in the White House. Now, this was from Representative Joe Morrell of New York. So I guess the big question is, y'all, why is this even popular? If they're not going to, if they're not going to, if this is not a outright ban, then why is this a step in the right direction? Possibly. But we need more. We need more. Democratic Representative Pramila Jayapal, I believe I pronounced it right, of Washington, called the measures a fake stock trading ban. That's what the hell it is. It is a fake stock trading ban. There have been various efforts in Congress to pass a congressional stock trading bill, with proponents saying current law does little to discourage public officials from using their position for personal gain. Under a 13-year-old law known as the Stock Act, members of Congress, executive branch officials, and other federal employees are prohibited from using non-public information for their financial benefit. The law also requires officials to disclose stock trade exceeding $1,000 within 45 days, but no member of Congress has ever been prosecuted under the current law despite violations. Yeah, I call BS on this one, y'all. So I think we should continue to hold these folks accountable. This should be a question that you should ask every candidate. I had the opportunity to ask congressional candidates that I've had on this show, you know, what's their take on it? Do they stand? Are they wanting to see a ban on insider trading? Right? Because it's just a flat out important question. Every candidate that's running for Congress that I brought on this show, I will ask them that. That is my promise to you all. And if I don't, keep me accountable. Let me go ahead and digress from this story because, again, if it's not an outright ban, I'm not going to continue to waste my time talking too much on it. Let me go ahead and digress from this story and move it on to voter fraud. Voter fraud. So listen to Donald Trump had a recent a prime time address. It was one of his it was something that, in my opinion, was not important, so I really didn't watch the whole thing. You had three networks that did not hold the press conference. I know CNN was one of them, PBS, and I believe ABC. I believe those are the three. And so and some of them was criticized. Some of them are saying, hey, look, they have the right to air whatever they want to. Me personally, I think they should have aired it. Even though if what he's saying is, bull, but hey, he's a sitting president, respect the position. If he has any kind of speech, just air it. That should be, to me, I am for network. All the networks should have showed it. But anyway, here's a highlight from that speech that he had where he brought up a lot of voter election fraud, this voter election fraud, that, and not speaking on in my opinion, the important things going on right now. But listen to this.
Of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned. They couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, a set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files.
So, okay. So to answer your question, he's still talking about election voter fraud, and election interference. He has accused China of interfering. Now, look, the question is, does voter fraud exist? Yes. Now, does it support Trump's case that voter fraud was involved in 2020? No. Let me break it down. So, Trump will forever never take an L. He will never take an L. And it's interesting that voter fraud only happens when he's running for something. It don't ever happen. It ain't never happened when he won. Okay. He's won 2 elections. Voter fraud was never involved in those 2 elections, but they were involved in the one election that he lost. Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. Even folks in his own party has spoken out and saying, wait, why are we still talking about this? Even voters have said, I really wish he would just give it a rest. Like, you're publicly showing that you are a sore loser. Look, here's some past clips of you have former Republican lieutenant governor of Georgia, Jeff Duncan, who has since left the Republican Party, is now a Democrat because he ran for governor recently. But listen to this compilation of Republicans that spoke against Trump's election fraud lies.
Proud to report that continue to not see any sort of systemic issues or fraud or improprieties.
My colleagues, nothing before us proves illegality anywhere near the massive scale that would have tipped the entire election.
There is no foreign power that is flipping votes. There's no domestic actor flipping votes. I did it right. We did it right. This was a secure election.
I made it clear I did not agree with the idea of saying the election was stolen and putting out this stuff, which I told the president was bullshit.
Proud to report that continued to
Your
not see any.
own former attorney general said it was bullshit, Mr. President. Why are you continuing to speak on it? Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. Let me read you this real quick because I'm going to be closing this very shortly. I'm not going to stay on too long with you all. In Wisconsin, the state Supreme Court noted that Trump's lawyers failed to identify even one vote case by an ineligible voter in the challenged group, while asking the court to invalidate more than 220,000 votes. Also, more than 60 election-related cases were considered by courts, including judges appointed by Republicans and Trump himself, without producing a judicial findings of widespread outcome-changing fraud. Some cases were dismissed for procedural reasons, but others reached the evidence and found it insufficient. Lastly, audits and recounts produced only a tiny changes. In 2025, peer review analysts found that 2020 election audits shifted presidential totals by approximately 0.007% on average, nowhere close to the margins necessary to overturn the national result. Here is former Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie sharing his take, who's very outspoken, by the way, but he provides what I would think is very fair evidence. Listen to this.
But I don't think the problem, is that our elections aren't secure, because we control the House, we control the Senate, we control the White House, and in some degree, we control the Supreme Court. So I asked my Republican colleagues, why are you complaining about election fraud? We won all the damn elections. The fraud that's going on is we're not holding ourselves to the promises that we made of fiscal responsibility, putting America first, making America healthy. The problem is we're wasting the opportunity that we were given in these elections, that we won, all of them.
Handle this, which is extraordinary in and of itself, that they're not using it to discuss a war, but to discuss the Epstein files. So aren't they just doing the bidding of Donald Trump? And isn't he the one that doesn't want this to come out?
Well, I think he has been trying to protect his friends like Howard Lutnick, who it's obvious now he was a bald-faced liar. Just weeks before we got the files released, he was saying he had never had anything to do with Epstein after his first interaction. And now we see he took his kids, his whole family, to the island for lunch. So I think he's still trying to protect some of his friends, and we just need to get it all out there. But more importantly, there are enough names in there. Leslie Wexner, Leon Black, Jess Staley. These are people who are mentioned in there. You're innocent until proven guilty in this country, but there's enough information there that there need to be investigations like there have been across the world. I mean, there's the Prince of England is no longer a prince. The ambassador from Britain to the United States is now gone. The former prime minister of Norway is being investigated. It's happening everywhere except for the United States. And I do think the president's been an impediment. But I agree with the first lady when she says that Epstein did not act alone. And so we need to investigate these things. There need to be prosecutions, not just getting this out there. We've got enough stuff out there now to have the prosecutions. And that's what this 2.0 is about doing. It's letting the state attorneys general do the job that the U.S. attorney general will not do.
Congressman.
So right then and there, I mean, speaking truth to power, thank God there's somebody with some sense on the Republican Party, because he said, we won all the damn elections. You have the majority in the House. You have the majority in the Senate. You have the White House, and you have the majority on the Supreme Court. I'm seriously, make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But hey, we've said it time and time again. This man is one of the biggest whiners we've seen in the world of politics. It's out in the open. His own voters see it and they're annoyed by it. People in his own party see it and they're annoyed by it. I had on, Mike Termat, who's a former 2024 VP, Libertarian VP nominee, and he's currently, he rejoined the Republican Party. I asked him, hey, has Trump helped or hurt the GOP? Has he been a benefit for him, or has he hurt it? He said he has done enormous damage. This is a bit of just some of the damage that Trump has done in the Republican Party, my friends. Look, I'm gonna we'll talk a little more about this because I have to close this. I do have a function I need to attend to, but I want to get on shortly to share just a couple of things that came up on my feed that I want to share with you all, and I want to share my opinion on it as well. But as always, my friends, thank you so much for sticking with us and supporting the Arrington Gavin Show. Stay blessed, stay informed, and I will talk to you soon for another great convo here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace and blessings. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.